Russian President Vladimir Putin has weighed in on the risks of artificial intelligence, warning that over-reliance on AI could create a divide between people who continue to think independently and those who simply rely on technology. Speaking to young teachers, students and scientists in Novosibirsk, Putin said that AI could eventually create two groups of people: an intellectual elite that uses the technology responsibly, and people who, in his words, simply press the buttons and stop thinking for themselves. Putin also joked that people who become too dependent on AI could see their grey matter shrink. Now, the remark reflected his concern about human dependence on AI rather than establishing a scientific claim about the brain. Putin then asked the teacher what threat artificial intelligence could pose. The specialist replied that Putin had nothing to be afraid of, to which Putin responded with the line, "I've never been afraid of anything." The exchange comes as Russia seeks to expand its domestic artificial intelligence capabilities. Moscow has framed AI development as part of its broader push for technological sovereignty, with an emphasis on domestic research, talent, and technology. Putin's comments highlight a central debate around artificial intelligence, whether the technology will augment human abilities or it will encourage people to rely on machines in place of their own judgment. For Russia, the challenge might be building its own AI capabilities while ensuring that human thinking does not become the technology's casualty. North Korea fired a ballistic missile towards the sea off the Korean peninsula east coast. The provocation comes just days before South Korea and the US. They are set to begin major joint military drills from August 17th to August 27th. South Korean and Japanese authorities said the missile flew around 700 kilometers before landing in the sea outside Japan's exclusive economic zone. Japan lodged a strong protest with Pyongyang, condemning the launch. South Korea held an emergency security meeting and urged Pyongyang to stop provocations that violate United Nations resolutions. South Korea's military said it remains ready to respond overwhelmingly to any provocation under its joint defense posture with the United States. A U.S. military spokesperson said the upcoming exercise reflected the changing nature of warfare, with greater use of unmanned systems, electronic warfare, and cyber operations.
Character of warfare has been changing. So even involving aspects of warfare, including drones, GPS disruption, and cyber attacks, are expected to be reflected in the exercise. Space Forces Korea is participating. They will be a key player for U.S. Forces Korea.